Right, can anyone see this? Can anyone hear this? This is ridiculous. There is absolutely nothing working today, is there? Come on. Is it working? Is it working? Is it working? Is this one working? Can you hear me? Can you see me? Yes, brilliant. I have no idea what's happening, but what an absolute pain in the arse that is. I thought there was something a little bit wrong earlier on. I can't hear anything that's coming out on the headphones, so I've just put them away because nothing was working. And then all of a sudden, the camera wasn't working. I updated earlier on, Windows updated, and it took me absolutely ages to do, so I don't know if that's upset some of the settings, but there we go. Patrick's joined the last one. Let's see if he's joined this one as well. He's still connected, so hopefully Botrix will join us. I am hoping. Yes, Mother, I can hear thee, Mother. Yes, Steve. Yeah. The force has been used. The force has also been abused by the look of it. Don't know why this has been a complete knobhead, but there you go. Sunday for you, isn't it? That's what happens on a Sunday. I think I might have pushed buttons. And there's me telling Daniel, don't worry about it. Just push buttons, it doesn't matter, nothing goes wrong. Well, yeah, it does go wrong, even though I've got loads of buttons around me to press. They're normally alright. Hopefully, it'll be sound. Hopefully. Yes, up the bleeding wall. Shit does happen, indeed it does happen. Oh, yeah, he should join this one. Botrix, where are you? The other chat has stopped. So if he's continuing chatting in there, he's on his own. Which is very strange. So where are you? Please work. Right, well, it's saying it's live anyway, so... Here you go, Botrix has correctly joined the channel. There we go. Everything's working-ish. Casper, how you doing? Mandy, nice to see you. And Steve, nice to see you as well. The other stream has ended. Botrix has been running around like a lunatic thinking, what in the hell is going on? What's this lad playing at? Who does he think he is? Well, we're here anyway. So let's get on with it. I am now going to have to very quickly stick the link in my other places, so to speak, because this has been an absolute knob. But at least it's working, in theory. Right, share. Again, share. Why does everything take so bleeding long to do? It is ridiculous. But yeah, that's put me off my stride a bit, that. Right, Mandy, have I enjoyed my week off? No. And yes. I have slept ridiculous amounts this week, and I really must have needed it because I normally do alright on 4.5 or 5 hours sleep a night and a quick nap during the day, but this week I have been getting good 8, 9, 10 hours at times, which I know, recovering from the stroke, you will get the kind of fatigue that will really take it out of you. If you leave it too long, it will leave you exhausted, unable to do the even most simple functions. And on top of that, I've had a cold for the last week, so it's absolutely wiped me out energy-wise. So yeah, I've had loads of sleep. A bit of not a wasted week, because I wanted to do things which I haven't been able to do. But it's not been wasted, because hopefully, in the long run, that little week there will have saved my my recovery a little bit. It's hard getting over a cold. I mean, it's normally all right. I know there's stuff about man flu, yeah, I know. But it's normally easy enough to get over the cold. But when you put that on top of the stroke fatigue, it is absolutely horrific. Left me with absolutely no energy at all. So at the end of last week and the beginning of this week. But it was really good to have that sleep. And I now need to get back into the routine of getting up early in the morning and having me nap in the afternoon. I should be alright. Men who only sleep 5 hours a night suffer shrinkage. Oops. I'm just going for a quick nap. I did not know that. Steve, you got your flu jab yesterday. Well, fingers crossed that'll keep you okay for the winter. I've yet to have one of them. I haven't had one in my life yet. I'm not sure about getting any more injections or needles at the moment because I'm already, as I say, I'm exhausted as it is. I don't know if having more vaccinations, having this, that and the other will help me or hinder me. But we will see. Plus I don't really go out too often, so am I likely to catch flu? Saying that, I caught a cold, didn't I? That was a cold for the first time in 3.5 years, which I think speaks volumes. Like I said before, the fact that everyone was looking after themselves and was sanitising their hands. Nobody caught a cold in years in this house, and then everyone's just gone back to licking door handles, and it's rife. Steve, you don't get your 8 hours. You can be a grumpy boy, mate. You do proper work. You deserve a sleep. No wonder you're grumpy if you don't get them. I'm a silk blouse wearing poet and occasional office worker. I don't really need sleep to do what I do, but there you go. Hoi, goedenavond. Hoe gaat het? Hoe gaat het? Ben je goed? Yeah, so I should be okay. Plus I work from home, so I can hammer a little bit of work for an hour and then just go and piss off and lie on the bed for half an hour with a moist sponge upon my brow, if need be. So I shouldn't really be worrying too much. By the way, cheers. Oh, that is stunning stuff from our good friend Adam at the Charcoal Coffee Company. I will have to relink Adam's company in the chat and in the description. I did it in the original one, but obviously we had a humongous cock up with the stream tonight. But that's the Ethiopian geisha coffee, and it is quite frankly sensational. No, Mandy, not sponsored. Just giving a shout out to a mate who's got a very, very, very good company. He did provide the mug free of charge, so I don't know if that counts as sponsorship. But how do we hear? It's not tea-like. What it is, it's not as harsh as normal coffee, and it's definitely got that, I don't want to say a citrusy bergamot flavour to it. It's got a really nice aftertaste that is subtle and still powerful at the same time. But it is absolutely glorious. I thought we had a grinder in the house for the beans because we used to, but apparently that was taken and it has disappeared, so I had to go and buy another one. And trust me, the smell of freshly ground coffee is incredible. And then I've made myself a couple of these today. Yeah, it's I'm a tea person myself as well. I very, very rarely drink coffee. I do drink it, but it's only rare. I would drink gallons of tea in a day, but I will very, very rarely have a nice cup of coffee. When I do, it has to be a nice one as well. It can't just be a quick spoonful of Nescafe. I'd rather it be something that I enjoy. If I'm going to have it rarely and just occasionally, I'd rather it be something nice. Yeah, coffee does smell better than it tastes. In general, it does. When you have something like this, then it tastes as good as it smells as well. It really is nice. This is, yeah, it's not shit coffee. It doesn't come out of an elephant or a cat. It's just good stuff. Very, very tasty. But the smell in the kitchen, I made it earlier on, and I've been back in the kitchen to get some water as well, and it still smells of coffee in there. It's glorious. Really, really nice. I like it. Try it. You will not be disappointed. And to be honest with you, it's nice to have a treat occasionally. I think everyone should treat themselves. It doesn't have to be expensive stuff. It doesn't have to be anything ridiculous. With this, it's going the extra mile and grinding the beans themselves and then letting the coffee brew and taking its time. Granting myself that little bit of time to have something nice rather than just instant and off you go. I don't think we do that often enough as people these days. Everything's got to be absolutely immediate. Give yourself a break. Have a nice coffee. Take the time to make it well. Treat yourself to a nice bottle of wine rather than just the usual plonk. That's more. I know that that's more to former Nick than current audience, but you never know. Have a nice bottle of wine occasionally. Treat yourself. Have a bath rather than a shower. Take time. Everyone needs to take a little bit more time for themselves. We're in this society where it's just constantly 24 hours a day. 24 hours a day news, bombarded. Everyone's checking the phones every couple of seconds to see if there's another tweet or a message come through or an Instagram message. Breathe, read a book. Go and have a walk in nature. I know Daniel keeps saying about it, unplug and go and have an adventure, but it doesn't even need to be that far. Just put your phone down. Make a nice cup of coffee. Look out the window. Ferris Bueller got it right. Life comes at you fast. And if you don't take the time to have a look around occasionally, you'll miss it. So yeah, Ferris Bueller and Daniel Arias, modern day philosophers, both. Yes, I have never woken up with a cat sitting on my face. We never had a cat. We had one when I was very, very young, but unfortunately, it didn't last that long, I don't think. Yeah, so we haven't had cats around the house. We had a lunatic dog occasionally. Man, they're tasty, very, very tasty. They're very tasty. I don't know, what was that advert? That was around about the same time as Daddy or Chips. Oh no, we hoped it's Chips. Yeah. You went mushroom hunting today, did you, Hadwick? Did you catch anything? You have to be very, very good at mushroom hunting. You do not mess with mushrooms or fungi in general. I watched a brilliant thing on BBC, a documentary all about fungi, and it sounded the most boring thing on earth. A 1 hour documentary about mushrooms, and I was absolutely glued to the screen, fascinated with it. It was incredible. Absolutely incredible. If I never find it, I'll try and put a link if I can, because just blown away by it. As often I am with BBC 4 documentaries. Things like a year in the life of a tree. Yeah, an hour of a year in the life of a tree. How good's that going to be? It was another one that was superb. A Jim Al-Khalili one about the nose. You hear smells, and then he explained how, and it was like, what? Mind you, it was 3 o'clock in the morning, and I was 2 bottles of wine deep, but it was glorious. Barnsey, how you doing, mate? Yeah, be careful with your allergies there, Mandy. They are evil stuff. Daniel is the least unplugged person ever. He is and he isn't. He understands the need to be unplugged. He just can't do it, as we've noticed. Like he will say, well, we're not having a stream until Friday, and then Thursday it'll pop up. Just wanted to quickly talk to you for 2.5 hours, But you know what he's like, he's Daniel. How do you hunted them by taking pictures, taking shots of mushrooms? Did you find any good ones? Yeah, the trick is to break one away from the pack if you can do. And then that's wolf style, isn't it? Go and find the small one, nudge it away from the pack, and then the rest of you jump on it. You might follow my mycology class. Good idea. When you find the time, of course, that's the issue with most things nowadays. It's just finding that little bit of time to do something. Yeah, Steve, those documentaries with no commentary. Again, BBC 4 were brilliant at doing that. They did the GAN, the train that goes from Adelaide to Darwin, is it? From south to north Australia. And it's just that and the sounds of the people, the sound of the train. They did one with the reindeer. The fella in Lapland, walking his herd of reindeer from one place to another, and it's just those sounds. They had one where there was a bus going through the Yorkshire Dales. It's just, and there was a fella in a carpentry workshop making a chair, I think it was. There was a narrowboat one as well, I remember. The narrowboat ones especially, again, I think I've mentioned this before, I used to struggle to get to sleep. So there'd be times where I listen to white noise when I go to sleep to try and just tune out of everything. I used to put a narrowboat sort of documentary on, or a YouTube narrowboat video on. Just the sound of the diesel engine and the relaxed nature of things, I'd find it easier to switch off. So those kind of documentaries, no commentary, just the sound of nature, the sound of what's going on, they are absolutely brilliant. Definitely worth watching some of those. You watched the last Japanese family who make katana swords, yeah? Stuff like that is fascinating in itself. If it's one that's just no arse around, this is how it's done. We're not going to go into the history of things and have someone doing a huge commentary over the top of it. There's another one on BBC4 as well. It was a fella who made an igloo and then went ice fishing. And it looked stunning anyway, because it always does in the Arctic. But just the sound of nothing at times, just aim a little bit of breath, chipping away at the ice. Glorious. We need more of that. Definitely. Yeah, those are the Norwegian train videos that take hours. That's another one. Because the whole of Scandinavia, the whole of Northern Europe really, looks fantastic. You've got the taiga, that strip of forest that goes from sort of Canada all the way through Europe, through Russia, pretty much round to Canada again, unbroken apart from by the sea. And going through there, and there'll be northern lights there and things, just absolutely stunning. It's something I'd love to do actually at some point. Go on a nice relaxed train journey instead of doing 200 mile an hour, trying to get somewhere quickly. Go somewhere nice where when you look out the window, you're seeing some beautiful scenery. The travel to Glasgow was absolutely fantastic. Got a train, and as soon as you get to the borders, I mean, going through the Lake District in itself, gorgeous, but when you get to the borders, it's absolutely stunning. I could have just stayed on that for hours and hours, going backwards and forwards. So it's worth doing, and that's the kind of thing where you unplug and have an adventure. Although, to be honest, you'll unplug, but you'll be there with your phone taking pictures and videos and things. Yep, glass blowing with no commentary, that's another one. These are the kind of things that the BBC do very, very well. They have that thing, don't they, normally during the week. At 7 o'clock they'll have like a mindfulness, just half hour, whether it's someone having a walk around, say the Yorkshire Dales or along a coast somewhere, or someone painting and no commentary. We need that. We need to chill. Definitely. Angela Rippon's still in Strictly, is she? Oh, spoilers. Oh, no kick-off over Strictly on here, right? Not having that. Charcoal Coffee Company. Be linked later. Definitely go for it. That is stunning stuff, that. Casper took the train from Kolding, Denmark to Torsby in Sweden. Tons of snow. It was a long one, but lovely scenery for the few hours the sun was up. That's the kind of thing I'd love to do. The kind of thing where the glory is in the journey, not a destination. There should be more of that. I know we're trying to reduce CO2, so journeys, we shouldn't be taking too many journeys that are not needed, but I think sometimes a journey like that is needed. It's needed for the soul, it's needed for the body, it's needed for the mind, the spirit, everything. Just go on somewhere nice. And then if it's not somewhere nice that you get to at the end of it, turn around and come back. You're still going through the same scenery. I need to go to the Lake District. I was watching, was it the Grand Tour or Top Gear? No, in fact it wasn't either of them. I'm lying through my teeth. It was a YouTube video of Richard Hammond going to him and his mate from Drive Time, and I can't remember his name, the Scottish lad. That's embarrassing. I can't remember his name. A really good presenter. They were choosing a car to go to and their favourite road. And Richard Hammond's favourite road was one in the Lake District. So they drove there, and obviously they showed you them driving down this road from inside and outside the car. It was absolutely incredible, and it is literally just about an hour and a half, 2 hours up the road from where I am. So at some point, it would be nice to go there and just do that same road that he did. Not necessarily stay there, just drive, have a look around, enjoy the fact that it's out in the wilds in the middle of nowhere, and it's away from the hustle and bustle. I think I need that. This week I was supposed to be going out in the car, get a bit more practice, go a little bit further, go and see some of the sights, and that never happened because I've been asleep pretty much the whole week. But I'm gonna have to do it. I need to do it for me, my own sense of peace. I think. Get out, drive somewhere nice, chill, breathe, unplug. Saying that, I will not be unplugging because I will be filming it, obviously, because I have to make content to keep myself satisfied, if no one else. But I will do it. Mandy missed it yesterday, so you have to watch it on catch up. Alright, no more strictly spoilers. Don't mention that bit where Angela went postal with the assault rifle. Don't mention that. Yeah, the only problem with the Lake District is it takes so long to get anywhere. Is that anywhere within the Lake District or just get there in the first place? But isn't that part of the charm of it? Getting there and then spending hours getting anywhere. I think that's possibly part of what is nice. We did watch Mortimer and Whitehouse. Whitehouse. All of a sudden turned Dutch, yeah. Mortimer and Whitehouse go fishing, where Bob took Paul to the Lake District where he went to when he was a teenager, and they absolutely loved it. And it did look amazing. I'm not a fisherman, it's not something I've ever really done, but I really do get the idea of going somewhere with one of your best mates and just standing around for ages in the peace and quiet. Must be fantastic. Yeah, the roads are small. Unfortunately, the roads are small, but they have a tendency to be full of Lamborghinis and Ferraris now, and dickheads who don't come from there suddenly buying £2 million houses, which a few years ago would have only cost about £250,000. The people that are actually from the Lake District can't live there anymore, even though they've got to work there. People have bought houses that they're in for probably 4 or 5 weeks out of the year. The rest of the time they're left empty. It's getting stupid. It's the same in Cornwall, isn't it, as well? There was another good little documentary or little two-part series. Simon Reeve went to Cornwall to see what was going on down there and why things are so bad. A lot of it is because people who are from there can't afford houses. The housing stock has been bought up by people who are not from there. So of course, rise in demand means rise in rents, and people just can't afford to live there. They're having to disappear. Young kids are going from Cornwall to university, and wherever they're going in university, they end up staying there because there's nowhere else to live back home. Yeah, Barnsley, it's the same as a lot of tourist spots. You can understand it at times. It's somewhere nice. People will want to buy summer homes. I mean, Wales, Mandy should know all about this. What was Wales like back in the 80s and 90s, or 70s and 80s, was it? With the Sons of Glendower. There was English people buying cottages that they were going to stay in for 2 or 3 weeks a year. And the Sons of Glendower were burning them to the ground. You shouldn't be buying stuff like that here. You don't belong here. If you want to come and stay on holiday, come and stay on holiday, and go and stay in a B&B or a hotel. Don't be taking up people's houses just so you've got somewhere to come and piss around with when you're not on tour. As I'm sure, Led Zeppelin must all have houses around North Wales because that's where they wrote a lot of the stuff, didn't they? Like Bronny Rower and all that. Uh, how many more chats do you need to level up? Don't start talking to him. Don't be doing that. Leave him alone. You know what he's like when he starts getting pissy. Yep. Small roads around North Wales. Yeah, again, it's somewhere where our family spent quite a lot of time. My dad still goes there quite a lot. Obviously, he goes to Wrexham fairly regularly. He's going there, I think, is it next week or the week after, to go and do another talk. Every time he goes, they absolutely love him. So he's put back by popular demand, but he's also keeps getting asked to go, and he doesn't want to go when Ryan Reynolds or Rob McElhenney are there. He doesn't want to be part of that circus, and I can understand why. But it'd be nice if he just went when they want him to be there. The fans want him to be there. Yeah, companies buying him for Airbnb. It's ridiculous. It shouldn't be allowed. If you're not going to use them for X amount of weeks during the year, if you've got, Airbnb, it could be used 52 weeks of the year, or it might not be. We don't know, so it shouldn't be allowed. Steve, did I watch the rugby? Yes and no. I watched the real rugby played by working class northern men and huge Pacific Islanders. I didn't watch the posh wankers rugby. Rugby union is not for me, not a chance. I watched the Rugby League Grand Final where Wigan beat like Catalan Dragons yesterday, and I watched the Championship Rugby League Grand Final where the London Broncos beat Toulouse Olympique to get back into Super League. Good to see London back in the Super League. Gutted to see Wakefield go down. I like Wakefield. They're a good team. Obviously not good enough to stay in the Super League. But I like Wakefield. I would like to have seen Toulouse come up as well. They were up a couple of seasons ago, 2 or 3 years ago. And it was nice having an all-French derby as well. Not just Wigan Saints and Hull FC against KR. It was nice having a derby down there. Steve, I've tried to watch rugby union. I can't stand it. It's just fat, unfit men rolling about on the floor. There's no skill, no speed involved. It used to be that fat lads would grapple on the floor and then throw it to a skinny lad who'd kick it as far as he could. Then another skinny lad down the other end would catch it and kick it as far as he could. I'd rather watch paint drying. Rugby league, at least there's skill involved. So, yes, when it comes to soapboxes and sport, rugby league every time. Cannot stand union. The grand final yesterday was superb, by the way. My team are Widnes, because that was the nearest team to where I'm from in the south of Liverpool. They're about 7 and 8 miles away. So I grew up sort of supporting them. But they're always in the Championship. They were in the Super League for a couple of seasons. But so Wigan, they're my nearest team to Southport. So I always sort of look out for Wigan's results. Plus I've got mates from Wigan, so I know St Helens are in Merseyside, but they're still a little bit further away than Wigan is. So I look out for Wigan. I like them. The Fijians are huge. All the Pacific Islanders are. Doesn't matter if it's Fiji, Tonga, Samoa, Papua New Guinea. It just seems to be. If people don't believe in evolution, go to the Pacific Islands and see what those men are like. They are ridiculous. People like John Lomu. Again, I don't like rugby union, but John Lomu was an absolute specimen of a human. About 6'5", what was he, about 18, 19 stone. I could run 100 metres in 10.5 seconds or something. And we had loads of them in rugby league. We had Vainga Tuigamala, Inga the winger, and Leslie Vinacolo. Massive lads who were as quick as anyone you could imagine. Incredible. So, Mandy, you don't know which rugby is which. To be fair, Union has come on a bit. It's still boring as shit to watch, but it has come on. They are professional at least. There was a good game years and years ago where Wigan played Bath, I think it was. They played one game at League and one game at Union. The Union game, Bath won by about 6 or 7 points, and the League game, Wigan obliterated them. And I think the rugby union people in charge looked and went, we need to change because these lot are actual athletes. These are professionals. They are what our players should be. A lot of the rugby union lads who were playing at the time, England international rugby union lads, just went, these are on a completely different level to us. I think that so union did turn professional a lot long after. Before then, it'd always been an amateur sport. You can't play a professional game with amateurs. It doesn't work. It does not work at all. How do we Australian football? Yeah, I actually do. I like watching Aussie rules, but the shit houses that banging into each other, chest bumping, allow tackling, let them take each other's heads or clean off, let them fight on the pitch, anything, make it a bit more interesting because at times it is dull. But yeah, that chest bumping into each other, just fucking punch them. At least in rugby, there'll be a fight on the pitch. Both will get yellow cards and sent off for 10 minutes and they'll shake hands afterwards and get on with it, as it should be. Barnes, you watch Union now and again, but you prefer the pace of league, exactly. Union, is it Sale that you watch around Oop North, Sale Sharks? I know Jason Robinson signed for them, didn't he? I hated that when he went to Union. Just, what's the point? I know he won the World Cup, so he will say that's the reason why, but shit, 15 men, you barely get the ball. League is so much better, and the pace of it is much better. There's the thing I love about rugby league as much as anything, which I think I've mentioned this in a previous stream. When you watch football and a team get beat, if any of their players have got a smile on the face, the fans go ballistic at them. Why are you smiling and shaking hands with the opposition after we've got beat? So, well, the reason why is because we've just shared a moment on the pitch. Rugby league, they will knock the shit out of each other for 80 minutes. There'll be fights on there. There'll be blood and teeth everywhere. And at the end of it, they shake hands, they get on with it, they have a beer afterwards, and everyone gets it out the system. It's the way it should be. Fantasy Main. Would that be? I was going to say, is that Kirsty, but you beat me to it. Yes, you did unwittingly prolong the sport chat, Mandy, but it's not talking about sport really, it's talking about the people, I think, more than anything else. As well we should, because there are people that deserve to be talked about. If you watch any of it, even if you don't like the sport, to see what the rugby league lads do is incredible. There was a grand final, going back a few years ago, where Warrington Wolves, was it against Wigan up they played? Warrington had a player, what's his name, Wood? Paul Wood, was it? He got interviewed after the game. They lost the game, the final. So he got his runners-up medal, did all the interviews, and then went to hospital because he'd had a ruptured testicle. He didn't just play for half a game with a ruptured testicle. He went and got his loser's medal and did his media after the game before going to hospital. It's like, just the idea of having a ruptured testicle, I was wincing, almost crying in pain, and he was getting on with it. That's ridiculous how tough they are. Had you tried knitting when you were 9? Funnily enough, I tried to learn guitar when I was 9 in the Netherlands, and I couldn't play an F chord because my fingers weren't long enough or strong enough. But yet 9 in the Netherlands seems to be the age to try stuff. Any suggestions for your next project, Andy? After you've done embroidered the sock 21, I've seen your picture earlier on of Spencer and Daniel, fantastic stuff. Daniel, how you doing, mate? You're at the in-laws. Hope you're having a good time, mate. Ruptured testicles seems a bit sensitive. Sensitive isn't the word I'd be using, Heather. It would be fucking agony is what I was looking at. But he just got on with the game, never complained, carried on playing for an extra 40 minutes, then got his medal and talking to the media. Would you not be talking to someone with a microphone in front of you? How did the game go? My bollock exploded. Can I go to hospital, please? No, you got on with it. Crazy. Mandy got some lovely teal wool yesterday. Teal. Teal is the corporate colour of the people I work for, so it's a colour that I both like and despise in equal measure, I suppose. Because it's like, that's work, but it is a good colour. I do actually like it. Oh, Kirsty, jelly beans. That reminds me. It's Sunday. It's my stream. It's jelly beans. Know what I mean? Jelly beans were bought. Jelly beans were provided earlier on. I had to pick Jess up, and I gave her a fantastic present of jelly beans. Here she is, in my car. There are the jelly beans. If you ever needed proof, there you go. See? And I have got more in the car for Ewan. So, as a dad, you're supposed to be a provider. I am a provider. Provider of lifts and jelly beans. It's not really a huge amount in the grand scheme of things, but, you know, I'm doing what I need to do. Oh, Steve, you've had a twisted bollock. That was bad enough. I am... yeah. I've got into a car too quickly and sat on my own bollock. Women will never understand the pain of that. It's a real thing. You had an ex-lover once with a broken penis. Did you break it? Is this an intervention? Are you admitting to it? How? Oh. Ugh. How did that happen? That just sounds too painful for words. Oh, no. Embroidered the sock. You see, that could be, if Daniel wanted to start a knitting channel, him and Spencer about starting it, Embroidered the Sock 21, it'd be perfect. How many more offshoots does he need? I know he's probably got about 600 channels these days, but, you know, the options are there. And it could be one of those ASMR things where it's just the sound of knitting needles and it's just chill, no commentary. I'd watch it. Like Laz's streams, Daniel's mentioned it a few times. If you're feeling a bit tense and Laz is on a stream, you can just sit and watch and get lost in the relaxed nature of it. So maybe these are the ways forwards. No soapboxes involved like there is in mine, unfortunately. Oh, speaking of soapboxes, I went to Tesco early on because I needed some bits and pieces, and it's a Sunday and it closes at 4 o'clock, and I hate it on a Sunday because every wanker on earth seems to be in there. When I do become intergalactic emperor of the universe, before you go to a supermarket, you are going to have a driving test on using a trolley or a basket. And part of that is to have a look around you where you are and understand where people are in respect to you. Because I can barely walk at the best of times. You know, I'm limping everywhere. I'm trying to carry a basket when I've got one knackered hand. It's difficult getting around the place. And there's just people acting absolute twats, and there's no need for it whatsoever. And one of the idiots that was doing that earlier on had a hoodie on. Not as good as this fantastic bit of possible merch. No, the hoodie was an Ed Sheeran tour hoodie, and I really, really wanted to run her over with a trolley, but I wasn't pushing a trolley at the time. Yeah. Do you know what, Barnsley? I can't remember watching the interview, but I think he did have a light-coloured voice for a couple of days at least. How do we can't tell one way or the other whether she broke it? That means yes. What was his name? Was it Dick Splint? Did you have to get a lolly stick? I don't like using a trolley. I don't know. There's a sense of failure to it when you use a trolley. I can understand why some people need to. I don't. If I can use me shitty hand and put the basket in it and hold and just prove to myself that I can just about hold on to something in the basket, I'm doing well. So it's part of my recovery. Yeah. Plus, I hate the fact that people look at me like I am disabled, which is a stupid thing to say because I've got a disability sticker and I park in disabled spaces and what have you. But, you know, before the stroke I wasn't disabled. After the stroke I won't be disabled. It's just at the moment I'm not as good as I could be. So don't feel sorry for me. Don't need to give me a ride on trolley and stuff like that. I can get around. But, but I hate that. Charcoal Coffee Company. Get on it. Fantastic stuff. I do sort of look at the ride-on ones, the ones where you can get your what are they called? Them little scooter things that the disability people have. Disability people. What the fuck am I talking about? Disabled people, mobility scooters. That thing where you can just drive it into the trolley and have that in front of them. I do like that and think I wouldn't mind one of them, but I want it to be completely pimped. It's annoying when you're physically disabled and people act as if you're mentally disabled. Yes, in the same way that people in wheelchairs are not deaf. You don't need to, yeah, are you all right? Do you know what's going on? Yeah, my leg's not working. Dickhead, get out of the way. Mandy, the plants are not new. I have had them for quite a while. Although they're not doing too great, to be honest. I've tried to get them some light and I make sure I water them when I'm supposed to, but Japanese peace lily's looking alright. I forget what this one is, but you could do with a little bit of a bit more TLC. Yeah, talking baby talk. That's exactly what it is. Talking down as if people are absolutely backward. You haven't got mental issues just because you're in a wheelchair. There's no guarantee of that. You're not deaf because you're in a wheelchair. There are people who are. I mean, today we're talking about rugby league. Today is the rugby league wheelchair grand final. That was on earlier on as well. And if you've ever seen that, it's just on another planet. They're in wheelchairs and they are smashing the ever-loving shit out of each other. Well, if you can do that while you're in a wheelchair, you're not disabled. You are just not able to do certain things that we can. But I certainly can't do what you're doing. I know that for the start. So we have different abilities, not disabilities, definitely. Yeah, my stash man in it, know what I mean? It's like a proper stash down there, in it. You might be noticing it a bit more because I put green light on rather than blue and red, so it looks a bit more tropical in there now. But I do like it. I like me greenery, and they are real plants as well. They're not those fake ones that you get off Wish. Yeah. Well, it's called murder ball. Yeah. The way they play it, it's not far off. It's ridiculous. I watched the disability rugby league as well, not just a wheelchair one. They've got a disability one. Adam Hills off the last leg, the comedian, the Australian comedian. He's got his leg missing from the knee down. He plays rugby league for Warrington Wolves, I think, in the disability one. Seeing the way they play as well, there's absolutely no respect for their bodies whatsoever. There's no way. I'm already disabled. I'm not going to go and get involved in this particular sport. They go in it and they go full pelt. It is incredible to watch. I don't watch the last leg very often, but I don't mind him at all. He's funny, Adam Mills. The greatest thing on there is Johnny Vegas normally, and there's loads of YouTube clips of him on there when he just decides to take over the whole place. Johnny won't be happy at the moment because St Helens, he's a big St Helens fan, and they won the grand final 4 years in a row. And they went out in the semi-final this year, and Wigan, their biggest rivals from across the hill, they won. So they won't be happy with that. Adam Mills did a documentary about the rugby. Yeah, he's grew up on it in Australia. Obviously, the Australians are absolutely mad for the sport, but rugby league especially. In sort of Queensland, New South Wales, especially New South Wales, it's rugby league all the way. So to be brought up on it and to have the disability that he has, to then just say no, I'm not giving it up. I'm going to continue playing it. Fair play to them. No one's feeling sorry for themselves. The wheelchair or the disability rugby league players, they just get on with it. Absolutely incredible. St Helens, also known for making the mirrors with floating tin. Very, very famous place for glass and glass associated products. So yeah, the mirrors and things like that. I used to have to go through there quite a lot on my way to Preston. It's strange, really. You have to go through St Helens and through Wigan to get to Preston. Two of the biggest rugby league towns in the UK. And you can see Wigan's ground from the train station. A place I have been to before. Not to watch rugby league, to watch Everton. And did we win? I think we won there. It was an early morning, an early Sunday afternoon kick-off, but we had to get there early in the morning. One of the lads moved from Liverpool to Wigan, and his local was kind enough to open up for us. So we had a coach full of 50-odd people piled into his local on a Sunday morning. The church bells were still ringing. They made bacon bars for us, and everyone had a pint. I think we got in there about 9:30 in the morning. Had a good few ales, and the kick-off was 1 o'clock, I think, on a Sunday afternoon. So we got in and watched Everton. All got back on the coach and went back to Southport. It was a really good day out. So he's not going to be watching, but Andy Jones, if you watch him, we enjoyed that, mate. Andy also turned up at the pub once for one of the games wearing brown corduroy trousers, brown cords, and someone saw him and went, "Fucking hell, you're wearing Bungles kecks." And then the entire pub, all the lads plus all the locals who were from around there, started singing the theme to Rainbow. And he never lived it down at all. It's hilarious. I miss those days. We also had a day in the Selwyn, which I don't think's there anymore, in Liverpool, where someone got a mop out the mop bucket and put it over his shoulder and was starting to sing Two Little Boys by Rolf Harris and was marching round the pub. The regulars that were in there must have known this because it had loads of audience participation. There was bits where they joined in. There was little dances and all kinds of stuff. I don't know, I think it was my ex with me at the time. We used to go in there occasionally before the match, and she just couldn't believe. Yeah, it was my ex that was in there. She couldn't believe what was going on. She went, "What is this lunacy?" I said, "Well, this is what you get. Before you go and watch Everton, you need to get pissed for a start. You can't watch them sober. I can tell you that now because I'm having to watch every game sober, and it is a nightmare. You need to have a few beers just to take the edge off slightly. But it's fantastic. I used to love all that, the lunacy in the pubs." Oh. Jeff, have a word with Bot. Don't be naming his name. Don't be talking about him. Do not mention Jeff. We do not want to summon Jeff. You know how evil he is. The next one to mention his name is in trouble, I'm telling you. Don't be summoning him. Can't be doing that.
Nobody will ever mock Jeff again. Kneel before Jeff. Kneel in fear.
Why did you mention his name? I mean, you're alright. You can switch this off and just, go and watch Strictly. Have a live in this place. I'm sure this place is haunted. Why'd you do this to me? Fucking Jeff. Evil. Evil. No good can come of this. This on the other hand. Oh, don't mention him 3 times. Casper's had Botrix's ma. Your ma. Your ma's been had by Casper. Does that mean you're going to end up with more points or less, Casper? Do we know how this works? Is Botrix's mum able to provide points? Or is he going to take them off you because you've been diddling his ma? Dodgy. Yeah, Mandy, it is fun. It's all fun until someone loses an eyeball. There's a screen divider here. I've got no idea what's going on down there. I don't know if Kibbers and Horace are okay if Jeff's at them. You never know, do you? It's well dodgy. Do you know what? Speaking of which,
Kippers kicks ass.
oh dear, Kippers, a prep school appoints an AI chatbot as its principal head teacher. The robot will assist Tom Rogerson, great name, the headmaster of Cottesmore, by giving him advice on a range of issues. So a prep school, has appointed an AI robot as its principal head teacher. Cottesmore School, a boarding prep school in West Sussex, right, I already hate this, has worked with an artificial intelligence developer to create the robot, Abigail Bailey, to support the school's headmaster. Is that her? Is she AI? There's a bit of Meghan Markle about her there, isn't she? I didn't realise that was an AI, that. Oh, there you go. Kipper says, try giving them some actual intelligence, you toffee-nosed throbber.
Kippers kicks ass.
I have to say, I absolutely agree with him on this one. Try teaching them, give them actual intelligence. AI, you don't need AI. Just, it's a prep school as well. What are you preparing them for? For evil. Preparing them to go to Eton, so they end up just being savages. We don't need this shit. Get rid of them. But I don't trust boarding schools, and I don't trust prep schools and stuff like that. And certainly, Eton needs to be absolutely flattened. I don't know why people think that coming from Eton makes you intelligent. It doesn't. All that Eton does is show you that an expensive education doesn't necessarily mean a good education. I seen something earlier on. Was it on X or Blue Sky or one of those social media sites? Bring back national service, and they should do. And anyone who comes from Eton or a prep school should be made to go to a comprehensive school for a year, or be made to work in the NHS for 2 years. Let them understand what real people have to go through. Because if you come from Eton, you've been brought up to believe you're better than anyone else, and that only moving your particular class forward is the done thing. It's not. Barnsley, you went to prep school, Barnsley? Do we have any prep schools this north of Watford? I went to a community comprehensive in Liverpool, so I don't know why I put that stupid accent on. My school was great as well, I loved it. I know people moan about school, but to be honest, I missed the first year because we were still in the Netherlands, so I was brought in and they didn't know what to do with me. I'd started the second year when everyone had already been there for 12 months. By the end of that year, I was in the top set for everything because I was fairly advanced, which says a lot for the Dutch schooling, the Dutch method of schooling. So I was doing all right. So I was the top set for everything. I was lucky to be with some very, very nice people. They weren't scals. There was loads of people in our school who were constantly in trouble with the police, but I fell into a good crowd of nice people. The lads and the girls, all just really nice, quite intelligent. So we got into music rather than stealing cars, which I think is definitely a step in the right direction. And I did nothing but laugh for years. Just year after year, laughing like hell. The teachers seemed to like me because I was a laugh in the class without being too disruptive. So yeah, I quite like my school time. Barnsley, yeah, not prep school, Borstal, that's the one, isn't it? Risley and Winnick and places like that, you know, proper schooling. Yes, had a week, still in contact. We've still got friends in Enschede who we stay in contact with. People that were involved with. There used to be a thing called a Vriendenkring at FC20, which is a lot of businessmen, rich businessmen that would put money into the club, and like if they needed someone, like my dad coming over, a fairly high profile signing, they put the money in to make sure that he was able to come over and get paid properly. And not only that, they would look after. So my dad got a car from one of the fellas who used to run a Mercedes. I don't want to say import export because it's Netherlands next door to bleeding Germany, but he used to sell Mercedes, so he made sure he got a decent car. There was someone that owned a clothing company, so everyone was looked after, and they made friends for years afterwards. But it's like their kids now who were possibly sort of between my dad's age, mum and dad's age, and my age. They stayed good friends with all of us. We still talk to them on Facebook. One or two of my old school friends over there stay in contact on Facebook as well. But obviously in 1985 that wasn't such a big a thing, so if it was, I reckon I'd have been back over. We'd have probably seen quite a few of them more regularly. But yeah, we still stay in contact with them. Like I've said before, it's such a stupid thing that we haven't been back to see any of them. Some of them have been over here to see us in England. We haven't managed to get over there. That's stupid. It is just across the road, really. You got a friend. His family's in the circus. And we went to Hurlephone with the great granddaughter of the owner of the Maersk shipping. That's a massive thing, that, isn't it, Maersk? That's one of those, if you live anywhere near the water, you'll have seen their shipping containers on their ships. That is massive. Buying a car in Germany is sometimes cheaper than in the Netherlands, and it is literally just over the road again. You can just, you don't need to fly anywhere, do you? From Enschede, you could cycle in there, buy a car and drive back. Only from Germany. You don't want to import from other countries. Does the tax hit you in that case? Yeah, you are just to the east, aren't you? It's not that far away at all. It is literally. I can probably get to the Netherlands quicker than I can get to the likes of. Well, I could get there quicker than I can go and see Steve in Norwich, Norfolk, which is ridiculous. It shouldn't be that way, really, should it? But it is. Mind you, when Concorde was a thing, you could get to New York in 4.5 hours. At times, it would take more than 4.5 hours to get from Liverpool to Crystal Palace to watch a game, which is ridiculous. By the time you get there, you could have flown to New York. It's just that stupid. The infrastructure in this country just wasn't designed for the amount of people that we have. It is stupid. And then we've got HS2, which is costing billions and is going nowhere. Spain have just put in place a high-speed train network across the whole of the country, a much bigger country than the UK, and it's cost a fraction of what we've paid just for HS2. They've managed to do it for, is it 50 billion or something they spent on a high-speed railway all over Spain, and we're spending billions and billions on just getting quicker from Birmingham to London. Stupid. Absolutely stupid. Maersk was Denmark's richest man for centuries. That doesn't surprise me at all. Anything involved in shipping, there's money to be made. How do you drive through Germany? If you drive to Nijmegen, you don't even notice. Well, being in Europe now, you wouldn't do, would you? Because of the Schengen area. It's just you drive where you want to drive to. You can cross over from Germany to Belgium in 10 minutes if you drive through the middle of Limburg. Yeah, it's crazy that all the borders are open. People can go where they want to. And then we as Brits have decided to cut ourselves off from absolutely everything. Most stupid thing ever done, but there you go. Casper, it's only a 50-minute drive to the German border. Again, that's another thing that I don't think a lot of people realise. I obviously know, I know Northern Europe quite well. A lot of people don't realise Denmark isn't Scandinavia. It's not Norway or Sweden. It's attached to mainland Northern Europe, and Germany is just there, and Poland's only round the corner, and Netherlands is just down there as well. It's really close. But it's nice. 50-minute drive from here, I wouldn't even get to Birmingham, and you're getting to Germany within the same time. MPs' pockets have well and truly been lined. I would hope in years to come that there will be something that comes out about how this has happened. It is the mafia would be embarrassed and ashamed at that. What's going on with HS2 and Teesport, the Freeport in Middlesbrough. Money going underneath the table. It's disgusting. Money that could be used on things that we actually need, and it's going into the pockets of those fuckers. Hate them. Yep. Novo Nordisk. Because of injections for slimming. Money to be made with all kinds of stuff like that. Definitely. Got a bigger turnover than the rest of the country. I remember seeing something, was it Grand Theft Auto? It's got a bigger turnover than, I think it might have been something stupid like Ireland at the time. A computer game had a bigger turnover, a gross national product of Ireland. It's crazy. I don't think it'll be the same now because obviously Ireland are a low tax place where lots of European companies go to have contact centres and what have you. Yeah, Barnsley will be stuck on the motorways around there, just going to Salford for minutes and minutes. 50 minutes wouldn't get you out of your county, Steve, yep. Of course. It's crazy how far you can get in Europe compared to how far it would take us to get anywhere. I mean, I'm 20 miles away from Liverpool city centre. If I want to go there, it does take me 45 minutes. Well, I can get there quicker on a quieter day or early in the morning, but a lot of the times it takes an absolute age. Kirsty, yeah, 50 minutes won't get you out of London. Like I say, I've been to London quite a lot watching football games. You can get from Liverpool to the M25 in about 2.5 hours, to then get across London to Crystal Palace, South London near Croydon, is another 2.5 to 3 hours. It's just stupid. So you're better off probably flying to Brighton and getting a train from Brighton to Croydon or wherever the nearest station is. Jeff kicking off again. Jeff, don't like him. Oh, it's still Scandinavia. You are Scandinavians with the language and culture, but I mean, you're not connected to that part of the world. You are still actually physically connected by land to Northern Europe. Scania has been Swedish since the 1650s. It's still been Danish longer than it's been Swedish. I didn't know that. Denmark is also the Faroes. Yep. Why isn't Iceland part of Scandinavia, culturally speaking? That is a very good question. Iceland's a weird place, isn't it? Doesn't seem to belong to anything other than itself. Whether that's cultural, political, geopolitical, just seems to be on its own in the middle of bleeding nowhere. I like the idea of Iceland though. Casper levelling up as well, fantastic. Yeah, we need to check the chain locks on Jeff. He is a bit wild. He needs to be watched. I do not trust him one bit. Man, you can walk to an Iceland in 15 minutes. Have they got the Northern Lights in there? It would be nice. Iceland was Danish until World War II. And after that, yeah, Mum went to Iceland. Mums always go to Iceland. Kirsty, if you want to travel to Scotland, it's cheaper to fly to Europe and then to Scotland. It's that way with most of the UK. Getting anywhere is easier to fly somewhere else and then carry on to there. I know quite a few of the lads actually, when they go to London trips now, away games, instead of getting a train or a coach, they will fly from Liverpool or Manchester to London and then get the tube. I just started flying down to the likes of Brighton or Bournemouth because it's easier and quicker. Right, so Icelanders speak Danish as well. They have it in school as well as Icelandic. I did not know that. I know they speak spectacularly good English. We had a Icelandic player at Everton, Gylfi Sigurdsson, and his English was better than most of the other English players, to be honest. More understandable than the Scousers, anyway. How do we hear the Northern Lights a few weeks ago? Too much light pollution to see it as well, yeah. You hardly see any stars at night. I'm not surprised to be a hell of a lot of Northern Europe when you see it on from the ISS pointing downwards. There's dark everywhere, and all of a sudden you come to like Northern Europe and it's just lit up like a Christmas tree. There's far too much light. It only stands out as well when you say you look at it from the ISS or something. I notice it where we are because we're on the coast as well. There's quite a lot of light, but when you go down towards the beach when it's dark of a night and then look westwards away from the land, away from the UK, you can see it's a bit darker in that direction. Just going out on a boat, you'd be able to see a hell of a lot more, but that is crazy. Casper, yeah, it was seen as far south as Paris. I think it was seen in the last couple of years. It was seen in northern Spain as well. That's how far south it has been. It all depends, of course, on solar flares. Once you get a really big solar flare, it can be seen for a long, long way down, long way south. Tons of stars there at night, Casper. You need to get out there with your camera, mate. Take some pictures. I love seeing stars at night. All Greenlanders and Faroese speak Danish. Yep, that I understand that one. Mandy, depends on the clouds whether you can see the stars or not. I suppose North Wales won't have anywhere near as much light pollution as a lot of other places around, well, where we are anyway. But you'll still have a lot of the light pollution from Liverpool, especially, and the Merseyside and Greater Manchester, huge metropolitan areas, which is a ball ache. The other week you saw the stars in New Zealand, Armenia, and in South Africa. They were beautiful. I can imagine. If you go somewhere where it's a bit more wild and rugged and you're away from huge urban conurbations, you'll be able to see stuff like that. I went to Tenerife, again, with my ex-wife. Only talking to my daughter about this the other day because her mum's just been back to Tenerife on holiday. And it was not far from where we stayed. And one of the biggest regrets is that we didn't go on one of the day and night trip to Mount Teide, which is Spain's highest point on Tenerife. You can get above the clouds. There was like a champagne supper, and then you go and just go and look at the sky for a few hours. It would have been dead easy to go and do that, and we never did it. And I'm gutted because I can imagine it looked absolutely sensational. Above the cloud, away from the light pollution, away from everything, would have been lovely. So maybe one day in the future I might be able to do that. Yeah, Casper County has 100,000 people. 70,000 live in one city, so it's not much light pollution out there in the sticks. Yeah, I can imagine. Your entire county has 100,000 people. I live in a fairly small town. Southport has 100,000 people. Crazy when I think of that. 100,000 people, Embrace the Tuck 21 has 100,000 followers. When you look at it like that, it is mad, isn't it? Yeah, Mandy, if you have your eyes shut, you can't see the stars either. Seeing the southern sky must be quite something. Definitely, Casper. Again, I've seen documentaries and the sky at night and programs like that on the BBC about how different the southern sky looks to the northern sky. and yet you've still got people saying that the world is flat. It's obviously not. It's got to be a circle. It's got to be a globe. You can go anywhere on the globe you want and take a compass with you. It'll show you where north is, and you can see where the stars are. These things don't change. Amanda, you try taking pics, they're rubbish. You need my fancy phone camera, or just a proper camera rather than a phone or a tablet, which is something I want to try doing. I've got me camera, but it's normally attached to this, and I've got a tripod. But once it starts getting darker earlier, and hopefully if there's any clear nights, I might be able to get in the garden and see if I can take some pictures. It's been the last few months, it's been a bit too late, and then now it's getting darker. It's been pissing down with rain every night, which is an absolute pain in the ass. But there you go. Yeah, keep your camera still and prolong the shutter speed. You can do that on phones. The thing on this, the camera's really good anyway, but there's a specific setting on Androids. If you go into the Pro mode, there's a setting for it where it's got stars on it, star trails. As long as you keep it still, it automatically configures what's going on and will watch and try and get your stars for you. It's fantastic. Got some really good pictures using that. Yeah, Kirsty, surprised that you can see some stars in London. You can do as well, despite the fact that it's probably the brightest part of the UK is Greater London. There are places, obviously the Greenwich Observatory is in London. You are able to find places where you can see the stars because you're a little bit higher. I would think places like Muswell Hill and Primrose Hill would be good to go to. Is Muswell Hill a hill? It's not the one I'm thinking of. Is it Primrose Hill? Definitely. Where else am I thinking of? There's somewhere else in North London. It's quite hilly, isn't it? Somewhere where they take a lot of pictures. Anyway, somewhere hill in North London. Primrose Hill, definitely go there. You'll be able to see a lot of stuff. That shouldn't be too far from you as well, should it, in Camden? Can't be that far away. I'll think of it. Yep, Pro mode. Where's that all about the Pro mode, blood? Know what I mean? It's worth doing, man. It definitely is worth doing. Try doing a long exposure, man. You might be able to see quite a lot. Yeah. You'll get some good stuff anyway. Alexander Palace, yep. 30 seconds is perfect for star pics. Yep. There's what does this one do? The raw. There's a thing on here on the S23 Ultra called Expert Raw, and you get the option Astro Photo, which is from 4 minutes to 10 minutes long. You can have a 4 to 10 minutes exposure, and if you leave it on a tripod and just let it take in the sky, it looks incredible. But you can turn on star trails where it'll automatically, within the camera, will allow the stars to trail and we'll take that into account. It looks absolutely amazing. But I'm going to try and get out there and get hold of some. We've got the what is the meteor shower? It's not the Perseids, it's the other one. That's normally in December, which should be good because it's dark early. You can get out there and start having a good look around. Yeah, after 30 seconds you get the streaks. On this particular phone you can turn that off where it automatically starts following them round so you don't actually get the streaks, or leave it so the camera's stuck and you then get the streaks. Some of it does look really good as well. I managed to catch the ISS going overhead on one of them. Looked absolutely superb. You saw a thing on YouTube earlier, Barnsley, of an amateur astronomer that took a picture of a solar system forming in Orion. Isn't it absolutely amazing what people can do? The amount of things that have been caught by amateurs. Finding planets. Planets have been found by amateurs, and meteors, asteroids, all kinds of stuff. So it's not just NASA. It's not just people with massive, huge telescopes. If you're a very keen amateur with a bit of understanding of how it works, you can look up there and find all kinds of stuff. Absolutely amazing. I love stuff like that. And whoever it is who found it is probably going to have the name attached to something forevermore. Yeah, there's an app for tracking where and when the ISS passes. Yep, there is, and I've got it on my phone. So occasionally it's nice just to look up and think, that thing going overhead was made on this planet. It's not a celestial body. It's not from the stars. It's from the US. It's from Europe. It's from Russia. This thing was put together here, taken up there and assembled. Absolutely insane. And when you think it's the size of a football field, and it's just up there, you can see it with the naked eye. It is absolutely amazing. These days they're finding over 1 exoplanet a day. Again, that doesn't surprise me. It must be insane how many planets there are out there. When you look up, there's trillions of stars. Each star is a sun. Each sun can have so many planets going round it. Man, you sub to a live channel that films from the ISS. I can imagine they can be really chilled videos to watch as well, just seeing how gorgeous the Earth looks. But yet it's a £10,000 telescope. It is, but 10 grand is achievable for a back garden astronomer. You're not looking at like 20 million for what you normally look through. So it's not like a 50 quid one that you get out of Argos or something, I can imagine. But even so, as amateurs go, 10 grand I suppose, still a fair wedge, but that's not bad going. ESA is getting bigger and better, definitely. The European Space Agency are being trusted to do more and more as well, as they should do. Some very, very intelligent people working on the stuff that's come from ESA. Guess me, you're a 70 quid one, but it's perfect for the moon. Brilliant. You don't need to see much more than the moon, to be honest with you. This thing here. The moon is it's one of the most glorious things in the sky. Big enough that we can see what's going on with it. With a decent 70 quid telescope, you can have a real good look deep into the moon. It's fantastic. Gorgeous celestial body. It's always nice where we are. When I come home, it's a slightly raised road which looks over sort of the estate where we are. And when the moon is quite full and it's in a certain part of the sky, you can see it from the road. You see the moon, you see like Venus or Saturn, whichever one's closest. You can see them really huge and bright in the sky. I love seeing that. Unfortunately, because when you try and take a picture of it with your phone, it ends up the moon looks like a little pinprick of white light when it looks massive to the naked eye. I have to find out how to do proper pictures of the moon without it looking bloody awful. We'll get there though, definitely we'll get there. But for the time being, we've had one, we'll have to have the other. Horace's haikus. What's he got to say for himself? Today is Sunday. The week has gone too quickly. I've wasted my life. Hoo-yah! Horace, are you alright, mate? Sure. It's a bit fucking grim, that, like, innit? I've wasted my life. What's he playing at? Are you depressed? Need some Prozac or something? You need a break? Holiday? Jar of honey? Don't know. You feeling blue? You don't know what to do. I'll have to cheer him up later. See what it is he needs. He needs something though, doesn't he? Yeah, Casper, if you had £10,000 to spend to find something that you could be remembered by, you'd go on a hunt. I think I would as well. Has everyone hit the like button, man? Good point. Good point. It's handy if you hit the like button because that way the algorithm thinks that people like this shit. We can completely con them into thinking this is decent and worthwhile. Yes, Steve, the best thing about living on the East Coast, watching the sun and the moon rising out of the sea. Totally understand that. Over in Cuba, where we were on a little island of Cayo off the north coast. So you got to see the sun and the moon coming up and the moon rising blood red. It was absolutely amazing. It's also one of the good things about living on the west coast, mate. The opposite, seeing the sun going down. The sunsets, I will try and get some good pictures. I haven't had a decent one so far this year. We have evenings where the sky is purple, orange, blood red, just gorgeous, stunning looking skies. And then watching the sun go down. I was going to say over the sea, but as Barnsley will tell you, we don't have the sea in Southport. It's a coast without sea. I think the Isle of Man gets all our sea. We don't get any of it whatsoever. Yeah, you can, via the internet, use the time you've booked for a telescope and then, use it remotely for wherever you want. I've seen that. Yeah, you can, can't you? You can just sort of go on those huge telescopes and book a little bit of time. I want to look in this part of the sky and they'll do it for you. Summertime, you see the sun set into the sea. Anywhere near the coast is fantastic for skies, especially. It's open skies. There's nothing in your way. Seeing stuff coming up and going down. Marvellous. Mandy, you had a cracking sunset the other night. Freaky colours. Yeah, well, you're in the same position I am as well, really, aren't you? You're looking towards sort of the west coasty area, seeing the sun going down. And again, big skies where you are, so be able to get some really good pictures. I think during the winter, when the sun goes down a little bit earlier, you tend to have a lot of really, really bright skies, full of colour. Lovely. Even when it's cold, it's nice being down there. Down by the sea, that beach. I like it. At the top of Denmark has the west and east meet at a point, and it's known for its amazing light. Yeah, Denmark, I suppose, it's another one of those places where the northern tips are places and the southern tips are places where you can see both east and west. You get the best of both worlds. It must be absolutely amazing. Again, Cuba was great for that, for seeing the sunrise and the moonrise. Wasn't quite as good watching them set, but then, to be honest with you, we were pissed every night, so we were in bed before anything like that really happened. Yep, we've seen those, Cass, we've seen your sunset pics tonight. Fantastic looking stuff. I must admit, the RDA provides some superb pictures at times, whether they are sunsets, Danish sunsets, North Walian skies, Dutch flowers. We've got loads of really good pictures. I like that. And it's nice seeing a little bit of a glimpse into other people's lives. It's superb. Mandy spent the first bit of lockdown controlling cameras in American zoos. Were you supposed to? Did you hack into them like Anonymous? Were you making animal porn? Is that what you're trying to tell us? Remotely controlling cameras in American zoos. Terrible behaviour. It's mad what you can do these days, though, isn't it? You see what looks like the Skagerrak waters and Kattegat waters meet and mix in the water just off the coast. So two water bodies mixing together. Have you seen that one somewhere in South America, isn't it? Where sort of the river meets the sea, and the river is brown because it's got all the minerals and salt and sands in it, and it meets the sea, which is a normal colour. Before it has a chance to mix together, it looks like it's just been drawn or in paint or something. It's bizarre. Yep, the further north you are, the longer a sunset lasts. Sometimes the sun sets and doesn't come back up for about 5 months, which must absolutely burn your head out completely. I don't know, those people get used to it. My mate struggled because he was on permanent nights, moving from permanent nights to working days. He couldn't deal with it. If you're living somewhere where it's daytime for 6 months and it's nighttime for 6 months, your head must be absolutely west. Yeah, penguin porn. Pingu poku. Disgusting behaviour. Pick up a porn vid. Look, Duolingo's starting to kick off. It's pissing me off, Duolingo. What was the one I sent the other day? I've still got a friend in Holland and I sent her a screen print the other day. I can hear the oranges talking, I think was the phrase. It's like, Duolingo needs to stay out of the Amsterdam cafes. I can hear the oranges talking. What the fucking hell? What are you taking to get that happening? You did inadvertently zoom in on a couple of otters in a compromising position. Poor otters. The otters were getting it on. Blackpool has the same thing, but theirs is sewage. Yeah, I was watching the Top Gear thing with Paddy McGuinness on his little boat in the Irish Sea off Blackpool, and I was thinking, mate, that's just up the road from me. There's not a chance I would be in that. No matter how much money the BBC are paying me, not a chance I'd be in that water. You don't want to be going for a swim and seeing a tampon next to you. No. Casper, you did a winter working at 5 o'clock in the evening till 8 o'clock in the morning. You didn't see the sun ever. That must absolutely burn your head out, not seeing it. It's bad off the whole of Northern Europe. We suffer from this because we are really far north, that we have very long days in the summer and very short days in the winter. I can understand why some people get seasonal affective disorder. We had a couple in our work who had them, and you have to have, like, the light I've got here. You have to have them on the desks during the day to give them a bit of artificial sunlight, otherwise it sends them a little bit loopy. I don't quite get that, but I do sort of understand why it can affect people. Pingu does Dallas. Debbie does the Antarctic. Penguin is the only Welsh loan word in Dutch. Do we have any other weird loan words? I know Welsh has got loads of loan words from English, which makes listening to football particularly weird because it'll just be random, and then free kick will get thrown in there. You have to look into that, Mandy. What's the Welsh for free kick? Apparently it's free kick. But I prefer watching football on S4C with the Welsh commentary because it makes more. It doesn't make more sense, but it does make more sense because I'm not listening to dickheads with chatting their stupid opinions. I don't understand the way that's going on. I prefer it that way. Yep, the only one that anyone can pronounce. Yep. Penguin. Penguin's a weird word in itself, isn't it? I don't know where it comes from. Penguin. Does penguin, is that Welsh for white pen? You know, Gwyn, isn't Gwyn Welsh for white? Ewan Roberts does all of the Welsh commentary. He does. I don't mind him, actually. Good player as well, him. Big Ewan. Still big mates with Darren Huckabee, isn't he? Darren Huckabee follows me on Twitter. No idea why, but he does. Barnsley's levelled up. Brilliant. Longyearbyen has polar nights from October the 28th to March the 6th. You still have dusk, 7:30 in the morning till 4:30 in the afternoon. Danish for penguin is penguin. That is lazy. That is far too lazy. Far too lazy. I'm saying that to someone. What's Danish for penguin? Penguin. No, you're taking a piss. No, it is actually penguin. About 1% of English words are Dutch, mostly maritime words and painting related. That does not surprise me in the least. Dutch are famous for being a seafaring nation and also for providing some of the best painters who've ever lived. So yeah, 1% of English words are Dutch, which would be maritime, painting, and cafe related, I would think. Isn't pen Cornish? Is it? Well, Cornish, isn't that a sort of Gaelic language anyway? Cornish, Welsh, Scottish, and Irish, they're all have a common ancestor, don't they? In the and also the North France, they're all sort of related. Gauls, Gaelic, all that stuff. Cornish is absolutely banging. Yep. Google says it's of unknown origin. Yeah, Barnsley, level 5. You've left the level 1 to 4 losers behind. Moving on up, as Primal Scream would say. That's gone cold, that now, but gone. Fantastic tasting stuff. Ethiopian geisha coffee from the Charcoal Coffee Company. Definitely get on it, it's good stuff. The Danish word for ombudsman is ombudsman. So it's like ombudsman with a cold. Again, these all must have just... We have got historical... We all come from the same language. Basically, there's loads of little bits, don't we? We all got ancestors, language ancestors. Everything would come from the same kind of thing. Ombudsman, I don't think you'd be able to translate that into any other language. It would just be ombudsman. There you go. Dutch word for ombudsman is ombudsman. With a silent D. You can't beat the silent D. But if you, don't beat the silent D because you might snap it, right? That a week. You can tell Cornish men by the tray, poll and pen, apparently. Yeah, there's a lot of tray, poll and pen there, isn't there? It's weird. It really is weird. The whole Cornish language. There's a fella on, again, BBC, Johnny Kingdom, who's used to make nature videos, BBC nature films. I'm sure it's Johnny Kingdom. And he speaks with a very, very thick Cornish accent. And at times it sounds Irish. There's words that he says that just sound like Belfast. So, and the same with sort of Scouse and bits of Wales, bits of Ireland, all sound similar. So it sounds like the whole little area from Cornwall, Wales, Liverpool, through to Ireland and back down. There's loads of that which is common. I love how language works and how it spreads and changes. Although, I know Daniel's not here now, but I'm going to put my foot down with a firm hand. Aluminum can get to absolute fuck. It doesn't exist. It's aluminium, and the reason why is IUM at the end of it signifies that it is a metallic element. Uranium, strontium, titanium, magnesium, IUM, metallic element. It's not aluminum. Stop doing that. Aluminium. Never mind Legos. Aluminium needs to stop. Aluminum bullshit needs to stop. Husband in Danish is husband and wife is Viv. Yeah, so obviously that must have come from the same place. Dame. Leg is leg. In Dutch, husband and wife is just man and vrouw, man and woman, yeah, which is weird. I could never get around that. My man and my woman, with husband and wife. Yeah, Johnny Kingdom, he was on Exmoor, that was it. A year on Exmoor. I don't think he's with us anymore, is he? He seemed a real, I don't want to say weirdo, character. A very, very British kind of presenter. You don't really get him anywhere else. He's just bizarre, but I love watching his stuff. Yes, aluminium is definitely the right way. IUM, metallic element, ium. They don't change titanium, do they? Or uranium. It's not uranium or titanium. IUM, metallic element, aluminium. Don't get me started on Craig or Megan or Greg. Yeah, Craig. Fucking hate that. Daniel, where are you? You're to blame. Oh, you also have Früher as Frau. Früher and Frau, same. It's got to come from the same place, hasn't it? Wife is the Dutch cognative wife, but it's a derogatory word for a woman here. Yeah, I've seen that mentioned a few times. A lot of Irish Vikings settled in Merseyside. They certainly did. I think I'd like to have a look into my family tree because I'm sure there's got to be Irish there. I don't think there's a single person in Liverpool that hasn't got Irish in them. I would also say Manchester was probably a similar kind of thing, to be honest with you, Barnsey. I would think the whole of the Northwest has plenty of them. They will have come through Liverpool, but they wouldn't have stayed there. I know there's a massive Irish community in Manchester anyway, but I would have thought historically there'd be loads. And of course, loads of navvies that used to work on the canals in the whole of the Northwest come over and stayed. Yeah, Stevie was. He was the wildlife Fred Dibner. That's exactly what it was. It just seems the kind of fella that you'd go for a pint with, or you'd see in your local, and someone would say, "Oh, by the way, he knocks down chimneys or he wrestles panthers for a living," whatever it was. Yeah, we need more people like that. I think we're moving away from those kind of characters, and we shouldn't do. I mean, the pub that we had in Southport, I only moved there in '91, so it wasn't like this is going back to the '70s. But we had Walter Sherrick, the pig farmer, and he'd come into the vaults and smelling like pigs, but he was a proper pig farmer from Lancashire. A real character as well. These words came from English to Danish. Basque, but, call, die, dream, egg, fellow, flat, fro. Get, give, hail, ill, law, loose, nay, raise, a rugged sister swain, take, through, weak, window. Are those the words that came from Danish to English, or is that Kirsty just doing it on the phone again? Because it sounds the same. All of Iceland has Irish in them. Yes. Because the Irish get everywhere anyway. They are just ridiculous. They've all settled the entire globe. But fair play to them. Yeah. Steve, most Scouse women have had some Irish in them. Wouldn't surprise me. There are plenty of stagnites over there. Yeah, man, your grandma's Irish and your mum's side. It's just the whole of the Northwest will have loads of Irish in the family, but Liverpool and Manchester especially are renowned for it. They would come over here and not want to go too far. Although London's the same, isn't it? Is it where about in London? There's a couple of places, isn't there? A couple of areas in London that are absolutely rammed with Irish. But they get everywhere. Yep, Scouse comes from the Danish dish. Skipperlapskaus. Again, the whole of Northern Europe, Germany, Netherlands, Denmark, Sweden, Norway will all have their own version of Scouse, Labskaus. And because all the sailors came through Liverpool with their cheap meals to a poor place, it caught on very quickly. And so Scouse, which of course is not that much different to Irish stew or Lancashire hot pot, or is it call, Mandy? Is that a similar kind of thing, or is that like a different soupy type thing? But you know, the whole of the UK will have their own little versions of that. But for some reason, Scouse stuck with us in Liverpool. Steve, your DNA shows that you're 19% Scandi. You're going to start growing a beard massive and put a plait in it and everything and start throwing axes at work. I'd like to see that. Go full on Viking, mate. You should do. I would do. My mate's done that in work. He's got his beard long and it's got it plaited. I mean, it's sort of 50-50. He looks a complete tit and also brilliant at the same time. So fair play to him. Campbell, if you watch him, it suits you, mate. even though you do look at it. See, yin yang, I reckon it sound. The Welsh for soup is cawl, but now cawl is identified as a kind of stew. Yeah, I would have thought wherever that version of the soup or stew in North Wales is the same as Scouse, is the same as Lancashire hot pot. But it must have all come from the same place. It's just weird that it's stuck with us in Liverpool now that we're Scouse. Yeah, I've looked at the whole of Denmark, Norway, Sweden, one big continuum of dialects. That sums it up perfectly, to be honest with you, Casper. Yeah, Barnsley, they went where the work was back then. You had to. Lots of people that were fleeing the famine in Ireland had to go somewhere where they could look after the family. Liverpool's the easiest place to get to, one of the easiest ports to get to, and from there you can get to the whole of the UK. You can get on a boat and go to North America. So of course they flooded through the city in their millions. Not just Liverpool, didn't North Wales? There was a port somewhere, which was it near Chester. There was a port on the River Dee, or there was a seaside town which is now a little bit of a defunct seaside town that used to have loads of Irish ships coming through. Not just Liverpool, there was North Wales as well. So again, a huge Irish connection there. Yep, definitely got the beard there, Steve. Keep going with it, mate. I like that. Go full Viking. Full Viking. Once you've gone full Viking, you'll never go back. Right. Casper, your sister showed you had 21% from Ireland, Scotland and Wales. That's a good percentage. And good, strong heritage coming from those places. The language continuum is broken between Germany and Denmark because the original Angles and Jutes moved to Britain and the Danish filled up the gap. There you go. See, you don't get this anywhere else. What other streams do you get stuff like this? I love this. I love all this. I really do. Pronounce cowl as in Simon. Simon soup. Makes sense. A slightly ginger and grey beard. I know the feeling, mate. I'm the same. There's a tinge of the ginger and the minge here. I come from a family of redheads. The good thing is, though, I suppose, we have got ridiculously thick hair. Doesn't look it because I shaved most of mine off, but my granddad had a lustrous mane when he died. There's no male pattern baldness here. Carrot soup is coal moron. Or cowl moron, sorry, not coal. Put Albert. Fabulous. Cowl moron. The place in Cuba, the nearest town to the resort that we stayed in was called Moron. Well, Moron. That was one of the poorest place I've ever seen in my life. With my own eyes, it was ridiculous. We got off the coach and went into this sort of bar type restaurant, really little shitty place. I got a rounding for the entire coach. That's how cheap it was. And do you want the cheap shit beer or do you want the Heineken? So I'll have the Heineken. And it was still cheaper than anywhere else I've been in my life to buy a beer. Got a rounding for the entire coach, and my mate got a rounding. We tried to stay in there as much as possible. We were constantly surrounded by beggars. My mate from Huddersfield wearing a Man United shirt, obviously. And one of the lads who looked like a skinny Fonzie, little young skinny Fonzie. Said, can we swap shirts with him? And he went, fuck off. 50 quid Man United shirt, and this lad was wearing like rags. No, you're not having it. But we made sure that I give me Everton shirt to one of the fellas who worked behind the bar. Because there was loads of Liverpool and Man United shirts, but he'd never seen an Everton one, he'd never seen a blue one before. I made sure I give him the shirt. I give as much away as possible. Razors and shaving cream, toothpastes and everything, and give them to the lads who were working there. Didn't half look after us. Fantastic place. Barnsley, your cousin's ginger, but you didn't disown him. You pointed at him and called him a freak, though. Who the hell wants Heineken? Me. I'm not allowed it, though. Well, I am allowed it, but I'd choose not to. Nothing wrong with Heineken. I quite like Heineken. It's not Grolsch, exactly, you know. Grolsch, of course, was made in Enschede, so it used to get delivered on the back of milk floats of a morning, which is bizarre to be seen. We had a barn attached to the carport, and then just leave your little note in the milk crate. 2 pints of milk, a pint of flour, and 3 cases of Heineken. 3 cases of Grolsch. So they just leave it there and then send the bill through to my dad. We always used to wake up of a morning and the barn would be opened. There'd be a note on there. One of the next door neighbours, hiya Billy, I had a party, we run out of beer, so we nicked so many crates of Grolsch. I'll drop them off later for you. Yeah, no problem. Of all the beers you can choose loads, but I like Heineken and Grolsch. Obviously, they remind me of living in the Netherlands. They don't, because I wasn't allowed to drink it there. I was a child. But the pubs that we had over in the UK, Heineken was normally the traditional beer before Carlin took over as being the universal session beer for everyone. It was always Heineken, so I grew up drinking that. I quite like it. I did like the occasional Amstel as well before my brain exploded. But yeah, staying away from Stella and things like that, not good. Steve, yep, Borden, you've got a hairy chest. You have grown through your hair. That's exactly what happened. You should have been 5'8", but you're not. Be thankful. Alright, so you're from Brabant. Bavaria was the local to go to, right? Oh, you've got team Le Trappe. I've never had Le Trappe. I'm stuck with me non-alcoholic red wine, me Beck's Blue. Beck's Blue that we used to take the piss out of me mate Lee for drinking, because he's a marathon runner, so he wouldn't like to drink alcohol too often. If he had a run coming up, or he was getting over a run. I mean, he still drinks the beer with us occasionally, but he'd always have a Beck's Blue if he was in training, and we'd take the piss out of him. And then all of a sudden, my brain exploded, my face melted, and now I'm drinking Beck's Blue as well, so I can't really have a go, can I? It's decent stuff for me. Right, so there's a La Trappe Nihil, which is 0%. I'm going to have to look into this. I need to look into all these things. Although, again, there's not a problem drinking alcohol after a stroke, as long as you don't do stupid things. I'm in no rush to get back to drinking alcohol. I'll say that straight up. I'm not missing it, so why would I need to go back to it? It would at some point be nice to have a beer with the lads before an Everton game or afterwards. But even so, nah, no time soon. But it's definitely something I haven't said no to completely. It's just why rush back into it. Right, so Gasper, you have a town called Brabant. Well, Brabant, the silent D, must come from the same thing. Definitely must be the same thing. Has anyone got a Trabant in Brabant? I'd like to see that. I went to see U2 in 1993 on the Zoo TV tour, and they had a load of Trabants hung up as the lighting. The headlights were the lights pointing down on the stage, which was bizarre but brilliant. Yep, the T is not silent there in Brabant. There is a Waals Brabant in België, under the province of Antwerpen. It's all weird, isn't it? The way everything in Northern Europe is sort of interconnected, especially Netherlands, Belgium, Germany, Denmark. It's all the little bits connected into each other. I like that. Shows that people got around and mixed. We all have to do that. We all have to move around and mix. Otherwise, the gene pool stagnates and you end up with absolute idiots. We don't want that. You have to move around, man. Keep spreading the genes. Spread the genes, man. You've only got 4 cities with over 100,000. That in itself is a little bit weird, but in a nice way. More relaxed, more chilled, and not as intense. There'd be loads. I mean, the UK does loads of cities with over 100,000. It's just too much. It's stupid. Yeah. Was it John Bishop's father who had one of those big Russian cars when he was young? I'm sure I've read something about that, yeah. John, professional scouser Bishop, who's not even from Liverpool. Absolute knob him. He's from Runcorn and lives in Manchester. And yeah, puts on the most thick Scouse accent of all time. That's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. Just fuck off, will you? Another copite. Gobshite. Yeah. You're 5 times less densely populated than the UK. Muscovites, that's the one, yeah. The massive cars. The Muscovites. Actually, I don't mind John Bishop. I know he's a bit of a tit and he's a red, but I don't mind him. He seems okayish. Just wish a lot of them Liverpool fans would shut up about Liverpool. It's like the only thing that you ever talk about. Him and Mel C, another, she Runcorn old witness. Another fucking wool who never stops going on about it. Level 10 is 1,000 points. Level 11 is 1250. Mandy, you know more about this than I do. Are you and Jeff talking behind my back? In cahoots to try and get him to cause trouble on my stream? Is that what it is? Is that what it is? Are you happy? Is that what it is? But the week you've got double the population density than the UK. I didn't know that. I know some massive cities in the Netherlands. I didn't realise it was like that. Bizarre. I know Amsterdam, like London and Paris and places like that, are just hugely massive urban conurbations. When you can move out of them, there's very little for a while, and then you kick into something else. I mean, nowhere in the Netherlands is too far away from anywhere else, really, is it? It's not a massive place. What do points make? Prizes. Yep. Yeah, John Bishop reckons his kids are the sort of kids he threw stones at when he was a kid. That would not, yeah, wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, Mandy's got all the potatoes, so she doesn't need to get any points, to be honest with you. I have to say, the Spencer and Daniel that you knitted and showed earlier on was superb. They are an absolute work of art. Fair play to you, you should be proud of them. And Nederland is basically one big suburb. Amsterdam has 800,000 inhabitants. Huge amount of people for a small area. But again, I absolutely love the place. I don't even know how many Enschede has. I don't know if Enschede is classed as a city or a town anymore. I don't know how many people are there. I don't know how big the city or town is anymore either. It's just bizarre. But lovely place. Lovely place. A place that, again, where you don't have to go move too far to just be out in the country in the middle of nowhere. But then, I'm like that here. Liverpool, I don't know how big Liverpool is. I think there's over 1 million people in the Merseyside area. Manchester, Greater Manchester is the same. There's a hell of a lot of people there. But it doesn't take long, does it, Barnsley, to move out of Manchester or Liverpool to be in the country. Delamere Forest is just down the road from us. Enschede got city rights in 1325, was it? That was just hidden under a heart there. I didn't realise that. And I lived there for 3 years. How did I not know that the place that I lived in was a city? Strange, but there you go. I know Preston got city status in the 90s, was it? Preston, that's a bizarre place. It's huge and small at the same time. When you start heading up towards Preston on the through Penwitham, and you start coming up and have a look over the city or the town as it was, you think this is a huge, huge place, and it was a town for so long. I like Preston. Loads of good mates there as well. Yes, the bot can shut up, Mandy. The island of Zealand or Sheerland has many people as your home. Jutland. Bizarre. Mandy, Spencer is fantastic, and Dan's a bit too blonde. I think you'll struggle to find wool that is the same colour as Daniel's hair. It's a mixture, isn't he, of sort of blonde and a little tinge of ginge. I think it looks fantastic, especially side by side in the right order. Spencer on the left, Daniel on the right as well. I think it suits them. The reason Zealand is an island is because barbed wire was too expensive. Steve, the Spencer and Daniel potatoes are absolutely superb, mate. They really are. They are quality items. Really, really good stuff. Yeah, blonde or bright orange. The blonde looks more normal than bright orange does, to be fair. Had a week off to bed. Oh, good luck tomorrow in work. Wel te rusten. Goedenacht. To be honest, we're over 2 hours, aren't we? So really, I should start wrapping this up anyway. I have gone on for far too long. But, say it again one more time. Charcoal Coffee Company, fantastic stuff. The Ethiopian geisha coffee is superb, worth trying. About in 20 minutes out of the city centre, and you are in the country. Whether it's to the south, Stockport, and then heading towards the Peak District, or going towards the north to the Trough of Bowland, or even Yorkshire Dales. It's not that far away, is it? And also the moors, Saddleworth, and all them places. Driving through there on the M62, it's like you're in the middle of nowhere, and you are just outside of the city, really. Liverpool's the same. I mean, where I am in Southport, between us and Ormskirk is just fields, basically. So you can drive for ages without seeing anything but tractors. So you're never too far away from nature. Yeah. It has gone quickly tonight, Mandy. It really has. It's flown by. But this is what happens when you're with great company. As always. I always enjoy this. So 10 minutes south of here is a 22,000 town, and 20 minutes north is a 65,000 city. Again, not massive, but nice that you're just out the way of it. Somewhere chilled. Norfolk the same yet, Steve. Yeah, just travelling around at the back of tractors. I think that suits the likes of Norfolk, though, doesn't it? Isn't that, or it should suit the likes of Norfolk, unless you're like yourself, someone who's having to do something for the job where you have to be somewhere. You don't really want to be stuck behind a tractor, but if you're just pootling around somewhere, it's nice to be that laid back kind of thing. Just let life happen slowly. Unless you've got a job to go to, or I need to unbend some materials for this job. You don't want to be stuck behind a bleeding tractor at that point. You can tell I'm starting to struggle to say me words. Stupid. The podcast merch, got one made for me and one for my daughter, which she was rocking the other day. So that she's wearing the podcast to go to college, and hopefully I might get a few more listeners to that as well. If you haven't listened to it, I have done the RDA podcast. It did work. I've got a couple more to put up in the next couple of days as well. Hopefully they work, because I'm pissed off with podcasters not working. Spent weeks and weeks trying to do these things and nothing happens. I never know. I might do a spreadsheet thing with some merch stuff. I mean, obviously it doesn't cost me any. It's print on demand, and if anyone wants to buy anything, it'd be great. I know some of Jess's mates mentioned it, but there's no way on earth I'm doing a branded butt plug. No way. So that's just not happening. Amanda, you have listened to it? Good. I enjoyed doing it. I think it's about the 4th or 5th time I recorded it. And if anyone from Spotify is watching, your podcaster's app and software is utter shit. Fix it. I used to be able to do it on my phone and it worked perfectly, and now I can't. have to do it on the laptop, save it, go back on my phone, open it, save it, and then try and submit it. It worked this time, and everything was in the right order, I think. You're not on it? No, you're not. You are on the list for the next one. So if anyone's on here who hasn't provided 2 songs that they want that represent them, tell me, send me a message, and I will put you on the next podcast episode. Because I really enjoyed that, and it's nice seeing the choices that people make. And that podcast, the difference in songs on there is just incredible. It's not like the stuff I'd do, so it was nice doing something slightly different. You have kept changing your songs. So at one point I'm going to have to Sharpie them on a piece of paper, and that's it. You won't be able to change ever again. But hopefully I will get a few more episodes with more people on there. I also want to do a podcast episode with Jess, going through the songs that we have on our little combined playlist. That'll be interesting. Getting her to talk about why she likes them, rather than people just hearing my voice. Yeah, Steve, how can you choose just 2 songs? It's almost impossible. But it was nice just to have 2 songs that sort of represent people. I'd say myself, I could have 30 or 40 playlists, never mind 2 songs. But it's just nice that it's something that represents the people that we talk to on a daily basis. And it come across really well, to be honest with you. Yeah, my song choices change all the time. I had to pick Optimistic by Radiohead because it fits where I am at the moment and what I've been through. That thing, you can try the best you can. The best you can is good enough. That is something I really do believe in. Just do the best you can. Don't believe you have to do far too much. Be realistic, but do what you can. Yeah. But it's nice. It's nice having an understanding of people's tastes as well. Obviously, but when someone says this is a song that means a lot to me, I took that quite personally, that someone had shared that with me and sharing it with the rest of the community. It was a lovely thing to do. So if you haven't listened to it, give it a listen. It's fantastic. The music is great. The host is superb. He's witty, urbane, tall. He sounds a bit melty-faced at times, but don't hold that against him. But yeah, I might try and throw some merch up as well. I hate that idea. I hate the idea of being called a YouTuber or a content creator and having a merch shop, but sod it, why not? If someone can have a fridge magnet somewhere with Horace's face on it, why not? Be more Horace. The host, Steve, some absolute knob called Nick. I don't know who he thinks he is. Thinking he's some kind of multimedia superstar. Don't trust him. Don't trust him one bit. He's got a stupid Scouse accent and he sounds like he's a ne'er-do-well, a rogue, a footpad, a vagabond. Jeff, piss off. No one's interested in what you have to think, Jeff. Don't like him. Don't trust him one bit. Jumping in on the stream as well. Yeah. Jeff, you will be out of here. Should we have a GoFundMe to get a priest? See if we can get Jeff out of this completely. Don't want him here, don't trust him. Right, anyway. What's it called? It's called The Reason, The Rhyme. And it's a music podcast. So if you've got Spotify, it will play the songs that I've put on there. Normally it's me talking about music that I grew up listening to and the reason why it's important to me. But I do episodes where it's just themed. A theme about non-UK and non-US songs and stuff like that. You know, some really good music on there, but I just do little 30-second to 1 minute little links in between there. I like the way it sounds, to be honest. It was something to leave when I'm dead and buried. Jess has got something to listen to where my voice is still there, and the music that I listen to that I'm trying to get it into is on there, and the reasons why I like it so much. So it's, for me, it's just a nice little thing to leave. The people who listen to it have reacted quite well to it, to be honest. I've got a couple of mates on Twitter who said they've found some music that they'd never heard before, but they trust my taste in music, so when they listen to it, they're quite happy with some of the stuff that's come out. Casper, you don't need to learn how to knit, but it'd be nice if you did. I think some people would benefit from knitting, just to chill out. Big projects are boring. You don't need to do that. You just need to knit the little bits and pieces. The stuff that you do in the potatoes are fantastic. As I say, the Spencer and Daniel ones look absolutely superb. You should be proud of them. Petone looks fantastic. The potato pony. Yeah, I like them. They're the kind of things that I think would sell hugely. But obviously you're not going to sell them. It's not your bag, man. The knitted heads aren't life size. Thankfully not. Because let's be fair, if you had life size knitted heads of Spencer and Daniel in the house, I could imagine waking up from a nightmare would be twice as bad. The small ones just look nice and cute. Life size would be far too much. Yeah, they would take too long as well, I can imagine, but yeah, they look great anyway, so you should be very happy with them. Anyway, my coffee's gone. My water isn't as tasty as me alcohol-free wine, and I need to go and put my feet up. So, cheers, as always. I always love these, the Sundays especially. Nice and chilled. Considering I've got to go back to work tomorrow, it's just nice to have these relaxed Sunday evenings to sit and chat with your mates. So thank you very much for joining. Setting up for Wednesday, I think, as normal. See how we are in the middle of the week. See how we're coping. See how I'm getting on after 2 or 3 days back at bloody work. But cheers as always. And remember, that's you. I'll see you soon. Hoo-yah!